Well, he actually won the confidence vote. The trouble is that the centre-right and the far-right parties boycotted it, and he felt that his coalition was crumbling, and he's been forcing Italy to take some pretty bitter financial medicine, and he felt that if he didn't have the consensus of all the political spectrum, his patriotic measures would become politicised. So he's walked away.
Yeah, he's won a lot of praise for how he has managed Italy's economic difficulties. And it is unusual to see a prime minister like this not want to necessarily hang on to power.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think he's been a bit premature, that he's in a bit of a huff. He failed to win election to become president of the Republic, which is the head of state, a few months ago. And people have told me that lack of solidarity amongst parliamentarians put its nose out of joint. The Five Star Movement, half of the Five Star Movement, because itself is a fracturing party, withdrew support last week, which precipitated this crisis. But the trouble is there was an election coming anyway soon. And I think the closer we got to that election, the more parties wanted to distance themselves from this bitter medicine that he's administering to the country, because, the debt burden of Italy is huge. It's about 150% of GDP, the public debt. It's a country with famous protectionisms and cartels. He's been trying to free these up, and they're unpopular measures for all sorts of vested interests in the country. So politicians, as the election became closer, started to think maybe we should have a bit of distance between ourselves and this man. And he's said, no, I'm not going along with that. He's resigned.
Extraordinary. So let's talk about this possible power play, particularly that might see the far right emerge as quite a player.
Yeah, there's only one major party that's stayed out of this grand coalition, and that's the Brothers of Italy, ironically led by a woman, Giorgia Meloni, a neo-fascist party, proud of its support for Mussolini, although they sort of don't talk about that very much. Famously has been in the past anti-European, has been pro-Putin, as has another member of the far right, Matteo Salvini's Lega. He was famously pictured with wearing a T-shirt with Putin on it. He's repeatedly gone to Red Square. There are allegations of funding from Moscow for his political party. So there's real concern that this isn't only a political crisis that affects Italy. It's a shifting of the sort of geopolitical plate tectonics, and that Italy may be nudging its needle closer towards Moscow now.
Which could be very dangerous for the solidarity against the invasion of Ukraine. So there's rumours now that there'll be a snap election that's expected. Who might emerge out of that to form government?
Well, I think its favourites are Brothers of Italy in an alliance with the centre-right, so that's Silvio Berlusconi's Forza Italia, Salvini's Lega. But even then, the chances of getting over that 50% threshold to form a majority government is very unlikely. So we will see an election, I suspect, this autumn. We'll know more details in the next 24 hours. But the result of any election is very likely to be the same as the last one, which is there's a morass of parties who are between 10, 12, 18%, some 20, 25% perhaps, but that actually they can't agree on a candidate amongst themselves. And once again, as with Draghi, as with Conte, they're going to have to choose a technocratic leader.
Draghi did seem to be popular with people, though, despite some of the economic medicine that he was administering. How are people feeling about what's happened?
I think there's sort of general astonishment that a man who is so respected, that has been dignified and has led not only Italy, but also the European Central Bank through some of the most turbulent times in living memory, should be gone. You know, who better to lead the country, say some people, the others, and they're from the left as well as from the right, have said it is not democratic to repeatedly have unelected technocrats becoming prime ministers. It happened with Mario Monti. It happens repeatedly in the Italian system, and it feels like a democratic deficit to many people. So some are celebrating the fact that we are going back to the polls.
And do you think Draghi is out of the picture completely?
That's a good question. I've been asking myself that. There have been suggestions that some of the things he's been saying sound to us as if he is preparing to do a civic list. Mario Monti did the same, and it didn't go very well. I think, he's in his mid-70s. I suspect he may want to go and enjoy his retirement. But yeah, a few of us wonder whether he is preparing to actually create a centre-right party.
Yeah, we'll watch with interest. Good to talk, Tobias. Thanks so much.
Thank you.